Hello. Wrong intro because I don't have the correct intro done. And I'm sure you're like, where are the other people? Um, they're here. I was in the wrong studio, so I had to ditch them and come here to get this ready. And hopefully they'll be able to join the right studio. Because man, I am not good with Streamlabs. So I'm trying to grab everybody. Um, But we'll see how quickly I can do that and how long it'll take them to get in here. And if we even have everybody tonight, because I know we're at least one short. But welcome to Star Wars, I guess. So yeah, Hidden Path. It's our Star Wars game. And Bombus Shaggy, I hope you are well. I'm really bad at this today. I'm just bad at everything today. So hopefully folks will start popping in. Oh no,
We're here.
That was my bad.
That's okay. You're just like, all right, here we go. And then it was like, Ben just went, bloop. We're like,
I'm still learning this, and boy, am I bad at it. So Nate, I don't know if you saw, but Nate.
Yep.
So I told Nate to just do your stuff, man. Don't worry about this tonight.
Yeah, go feed the horses, bud.
Because, geez, I mean, also if Sarah has norovirus, take care of that. Like, just be there, be a help, be a bro, be a bro.
I can tell you this: if it's food poisoning or norovirus, like I had, I was just in bed for like 3 days.
Wow,
it's bad. Like,
yes,
it's all over too. Like everyone seems to have had it. Philip had it when he was sick.
Are we live?
Like, a month ago.
Yes, I believe.
Okay.
I believe we're live. Yeah, we're live.
Are we live?
We'll do it live, pal.
We're doing it live, pal.
Oh yeah, it says live in the top left corner. Check.
I'm all right. I had a wild day at work, as per usual in my realm of things. But what are you gonna do? Sometimes when someone threatens to kill somebody else, you got to be like, you can't be here.
It's a very
it's a low bar.
It's a low bar, but it's a solid, easily understood line to draw.
Also, when it's apparently because there's a cabal of smokers against someone who doesn't smoke, and they're trying to get that person out of there. I'm just like, what's happening?
They're trying to eliminate the non-smoker from like the program rather than. I mean, it's a weird twist on the like idea of peer pressure, right? Like they're like, no, fuck this person. We're not going to get them to smoke. We're just going to get them out of here.
Get out of here. Get out of here, dirty non-smoker.
Here, you healthy.
I literally showed up to work I walked in the door at 7:45, and as I was clocking in on my phone, the two advocates behind the desk were like, I'm so happy you're here. I was like, that's never good to hear.
You never want to hear that. You
never
want to hear that because it never means
no, it's just like we need you to take care of this. It's like, oh,
it never means fun.
Can I sit down first for like 10 minutes and check my emails? Because they have like 20 of them. Okay, so what I would propose.
No, sit, only solve.
What I would propose we do tonight, rather than jump in because we're down to 2, is I would like, since you two are creative minds, I want to know, Jamesy Poo, you said you might have actually encountered the Chiss before. I would like to know what was the whole mission, what went on, how did you possibly encounter the Chiss? I'm also going to drop a little thing in there that Nate's just going to have to miss. We're just going to do some piecemeal, weird role-playing stuff tonight.
Yeah.
Nando.
What?
I want to know
what
in 8 years, what you guys saw out in the unknown regions. And if you you throw some stuff at me, and and I can always pop some stuff in there to be like, oh, you mean something like this? Um, but whoever wants to go first, this will just be we'll just do some sweet back and forth, some going and some world building tonight. Hope that Sarah gets the feeling better, and hoping that our retail daddy Colin will return to us.
Uh-huh.
Although last Tuesday he put was so funny in the top where our little names are for Mang. He put retail father, and that was like, so when you guys pop into the guest thing, a very robotic voice says Duolingo has entered the chat or whatever. So when Colin entered on that Tuesday, it said retail daddy or retail father has entered the chat. I was like, this is all I ever want in my life is to hear retail father in that voice 24/7. It was so
that's really good.
yeah. Although I wish he would have put retail daddy in to hear that voice would have been incredible as well.
Retail daddy has entered the chat.
All right, so I don't care who wants to go first, but let's or do you want me to go first with the little thingy boy first?
I mean, I've been thinking about this, and because there aren't that many people that have encountered the Chiss at this point, right? Anakin encountered Thrawn, and
there were other ascendancy agents that did go into the known galaxy at that time, though.
There are, but I have a really hard time with the Chiss sorting out what is legends and what isn't legends, and like just in terms of like me responding to things. And I know that like we're loosey goosey with that, and I know that you don't worry too much about that, but like I'm thinking that since we did spend time in the Outer Rim. With the God, what's Nate's character?
Bree Bumbo.
Yeah, Bree.
So one thing I'll say about this: remember, the Chiss aren't from the Outer Rim. The Chiss are from the unknown regions.
I know, but
Sorry.
but
I just had to out nerd you, and you're
when
nerd
people but like when we're talking about like outbound flight, and we're talking about like who ends up like being selected for those types of missions into the unknown region when they were like identifying Jedi.
Yeah.
A lot of the Jedi that they identified were people who were already like not within the kind of core worlds, like that had more experience with other exotic species.
Didn't everybody die during outbound flight though?
Yeah, dude. But outbound
everybody
flight
everybody got
outbound
killed.
Flight is not real anymore. I'm gesticulating with my thoughts about how and where this overlap would have
chopping it up,
occurred.
baby.
I'm also not.
Well, I'll ask you then. Did outbound flight happen, or was it like a program that got scrapped, or what actually occurred?
I think that outbound flight is something that like was part of the plan, like part of this kind of like colonizing, figuring out how. Also, I think how Palpatine could get more Jedi out of the way. That this was like an active program to just send people out, under the guise of peace and exploration, and boldly going where we've never gone before. But like in reality, it's about getting more masters out of the known regions, the known world, if you will.
No, I will not. Warrior's like, what a bunch of nerds over here.
We just had a long conversation about me co-opting Ben's life.
Not my life, maybe my fake life.
Your fantasy life, yeah. Anyway,
I don't know.
And so yeah, I think that Bree and Duo would have been selected or identified for potential as part of that program before Order 66.
Okay, well, how about we say that they were on like one of the first test, like short-term test missions?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think that seems to be a good opportunity for an encounter without kind of a robust knowledge necessarily.
Okay, that makes sense to me.
So just because I can recognize things doesn't mean I know what the hell's going on.
Okay, I mean, and that's fine.
Yeah, I was never thinking that we were going to be experts, but just thinking like,
I thought more like I was just saying like when you saw that you're like I know what that is, meaning more like, oh shit, I have a understanding of this, that this is a species that we should be very aware of. Not so much where you're like, this is the Chiss ascendancy and this is exactly what. All right, so we're gonna say you and Bree were on test mission Epsilon
excellent.
for 6 months during the last 2 years of the Clone Wars. Did you actually meet Chiss, or did you just?
I think that what little is
Like,
known
come across like, you know, Chiss leavings.
Yeah, and I think that this is like, as we're doing these little test things, we're also like other Jedi that have been out or encountered, species that have identified themselves as like from like the unknown regions, or just like less familiar. Like the briefing, I think, is specialized knowledge that shares these kind of tidbits, and then we kind of bring these tidbits back as a means of kind of like preparing people for longer excursions into the unknown regions.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So that would lead me to my final question. Is the Omega mission, do we then have outbound flight program Omega mission be the actual outbound flight and have them be?
I think so.
Okay. I like that idea. It's a good way to wrap that back in. Because I also like the fact that that's a thing Thrawn did. I don't like when they try to whitewash Thrawn that way.
Yeah,
he was doing a lot of good stuff for good reasons. It's like he killed a bunch of people because they were just like, I need to hide this from.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna keep that in. I like that. That's very cool. So where's called mission Omega? The final outbound flight is what Thrawnster actually destroyed. It's amazing that I can't spell actually. All right, Warrior, what do you got?
Don't I got? I think that originally, I think the science vessel itself is a private endeavor. I think they were sent to the far reaches to like scout out,
So was
property.
it it was paid for like by someone else?
By someone.
So here's
Like
an
that.
overview question. Was it
Okay.
paid for by someone out of pocket in the government? Was it paid for by nefarious groups or group? Was it, and you get to decide, I'm just throwing these kind of things out. Was it potentially paid for by Palpatine while he was not yet Chancellor? Because he also is constantly looking for worlds that were Sith corrupted, where he could just go in there and then plant this little dirty, wrinkly flag.
I feel like some of those things can be in the darker, unseen depths of what was funding them. But I think that broadly, for the crew, knowing the crew a bit better now, especially, that it's like some dipshit billionaire who was like, go find me a planet. And we were like, cool, we are gonna suck this idiot dry while we go do our science shit without them knowing, you know. So like it's sort of, they're like, yeah, we'll find something someday probably, but
Okay.
like they're on like they're doing sciencey stuff, but they're doing it under the guise of finding something for this dipshit.
All right, I have a question, James. I want your input, of course.
Yeah.
Well, we know a few rich dipshits in Star Wars.
We know a bunch of rich.
Count Dooku, notorious rich dipshit.
I don't know that he's a dipshit.
Well, I mean, I don't
I don't
consider
really
Lando
either.
to be. I don't consider Lando. I don't
Dude,
consider
listen,
Lando to be.
I have to go with people that have geometrically shaped beards like me. We got to stick together.
So, as I was saying,
Yes.
I don't consider Lando to be a dipshit, but Lando would also be on this list of notoriously rich dipshits. But the one I am most interested in, what if it was Talon Card?
That's interesting.
So Talon Card is from the same books as Thrawn. He's never made it into continuity. He was he was a smuggler by trade, even though he was like an erudite smuggler, because he certainly didn't need to smuggle. He had money. The reason he did it wasn't to smuggle goods. It was because he was actually an information broker. He was constantly out to get information to trade for other information. He was kind of obsessed with like moving and shaking behind the scenes, because he was like, oh, goods and parcels and items, that's great, I guess. Yeah. But really it's information is what actually matters. Like money is good and it can buy you a lot of things, but it will get people to do what you want, information. So it could have been like, Talon Card. Also, I can't remember what Talon Card even looks like. I always think of Talon Card in a very specific way, but I am listening to a podcast where they're rereading those books, and they said the person doing the voiceover almost has like given him a Southern gentleman voice, and I'm like,
he's kind of got that feel to him, He
doesn't look unlike that in this.
Yeah, right.
Are you looking at a picture of him? Because otherwise, it's going to.
He's got kind of like slick back hair. He's got that like Van Dyke, like the thin. A
fantasy casting that just popped up has him played by Ian McShane.
He looks somewhere between a like rich Southern gentleman and a vampire.
Yeah,
he's sort of.
Oh, that's a good. I didn't see the vampire until I started with the Widow's Peak, and you mentioned
that's super.
Yeah, vampire. I also just saw Nosferatu yesterday, so I might be like coloring.
Yeah,
a little bit, but yeah, I like him as that, because I feel like they could riff off the whole information thing. Well, yeah, we're gonna go play information.
Did you see the picture where he's got no sleeves? Where he's wearing like a jacket with a white shirt underneath with like furry things on it, but no sleeves. Gonna rock no sleeves.
Who needs sleeves? Sleeves are bullshit. In
space, no one can hear your sleeves.
There's this other picture of him that just a second. I'm gonna save this one because this is funny to me. This other picture of him that
I love that we're dragging Warrior into the depths of Star Wars lore, and he's just like this guy.
Oh yeah, like I think I see the one you're. I think that the one you're talking about.
He's like leaning on a table.
Like, he just fully looks like Craven the Hunter.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
White streaks in his hair, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the other family that you could pull into this, if you wanted to play around in that, Black Sun is.
That's not just Mando.
Like Silent Bob.
That's just Mando.
Scissoron, Shizors. Because he's a Feline prince. Shizor from Shadows of the Empire.
Yeah, I do like Prince Caesar a lot.
I do too.
Even though he's kind of got a creepy purple.
Oh, he's creepy as hell. He's creepy as hell.
With his weird pheromone powers.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you and I just want to get it on. Come get it on with me. Seal this. Even though I look like a 8 foot tall, handsome reptile man.
I like tying in something
With
like
a
that
top
because it
knot.
also ties in the Huts and the rest of the like larger, kind of crime side of things. And we like crime time here.
I do. Warrior, you want to look up Prince Xizor? It's Xizor, and you tell me which of the two Hansi Star Wars boys was involved in this. I like both of them. I just want to make sure you're like, it's easy for you to be like, oh, okay. I also realized Talon Card looks a little bit like a hippie version of Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, that's funny.
It's like his hippie, brother-in-law, Stephen Al Ghul, who's like, Steven's coming over. Are we going to have to once again have his homemade granola? I think Xizor is very interesting too, but also just, I mean, you and I know for a fact he ain't going to last the entirety of the game.
Well, no, and and based on him, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be him per se.
Yeah,
like it
just
could be
another
like his family or his clan.
I feel like from the we're fleecing this idiot, I think Caesar works better because I think that Dando would vibe with Talon, like for sure. He'd be like, oh yeah, we're cool. Like,
well, I think the thing with Prince Caesar is it's remembering like where Talon Card is a smuggler.
Mm-hmm.
Prince Caesar is a crime lord. He is like, if you fuck with him, his entire race are basically crime lords. He will just have you murdered.
I mean, you could go with someone like Zero the Hutt, who is like, yes, he's tied into the Hutts, but he's not very well loved by the Hutts.
Very much hated by the Hutts. I would say this. I would probably if you think one of the falling princes would work, I think we go with that. I would not do Xizor since he's very like. I mean, he basically is telling Darth Vader to his face to eat a dick multiple times in that book, and Vader can't do anything about it.
Yeah,
because he's in tight with the Emperor. But Talon Card, Zero the Hutt, or another falling prince, I feel like are all three amazing choices.
I think I like Card. I think he's fun.
Card.
He seems like the right vibe.
I also think Card's a character because we're not going by legends or canon, is a character you could actually run into again. The Falling were notorious about killing each other off or being killed off by other crime syndicates. And I don't remember what actually happens to Zero the Hutt, if Zero makes it or not. Or if he's around later on or he gets offed by somebody. I can't remember.
Not until later, yeah.
Does he get offed at the end of the Clone Wars?
You know who would be another interesting person is Tiber Zahn.
I don't think I'm familiar with that name.
He was from Anaxis, and he like in Legends, he like came up after the Battle of Yavin and like led his own crime.
Yavin hasn't happened yet. Is the only thing.
Okay.
Because you got to remember, I
have trouble like keeping it all straight in my head.
So you're like 9 to 10 BBY, so before the Battle of Yavin.
Okay.
So you got like another 10 years before Yavin happens. So we're like there is no rebellion yet. It's just a bunch of, small cells acting as basically terrorists. For lack of a better. All right. So we got Talon Card. So is Talon Card wanting anything in particular, or was Talon Card like, just like is this a tax write-off? I also like the idea that it's like a galactic.
I mean, like seeing. I need to like. I'm trying to like quick read, but like I think, like I think
he can be whatever you want.
Instead of being like a fleecing thing, I think they're like both. Maybe they're both fleecing someone else, kind of thing. Like he's like, like I think it's not on the up and up for sure, but Dando and Gree don't care. Talon doesn't care.
I'd say Talon Card is fleecing Black Sun.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And and the crew is thinking they're fleecing Talon Card. But really, you're all just sucking off the teat of Black Sun, because then we can bring the Fallines back into it.
Perfect. Love it.
So then we all are happy.
Yeah, we're happy.
Everybody's happy.
So happy.
Happy.
So happy.
Okay, the Black Sun. What would the Black Sun be looking for? So this might be something where, like, the real thing is the Black Sun is doing a favor for Palpatine.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to think what the Black Sun would be looking for. What did the Black Sun actually do for Palpatine? Because I can't remember.
No idea.
I can't believe we were like, hey, I thought this was going to be a game. And instead, they pop on and we're just fucking hardcore Star Wars nerds.
I love it. It's great.
So they provided intelligence, protection, and criminal services. Is there an item that Palpatine was looking for and never got?
I mean, we've been watching Skeleton Crew.
I'm behind on that.
How far behind?
I am.
You know the name of the planet, right?
Yeah.
You know the gems of the Republic. You know, I mean, maybe he destroyed all of the other planets, and like Atten is like the one thing he could find. Gives us a fun tie into something that's contemporary.
I can't remember. Are those systems out in the unknown regions? Or are they in the outer rim? Or they're not in wild space? I know that. Also,
No.
whatever you're eating looks like a cheroot every time you have it in your mouth. And you
It's,
put chew on it. You
So
look
it's like pretzel twist.
yeah, you have like almost like a Lee Van Cleef thing going on there.
It's in the Quelly sector, which is just it's near Dathomir.
Dathomir, I think, is in the unknown regions. I think you're right. I think it's.
I don't think so.
I'd have to look at a map.
Dathomir's near Mandalore. In the like grand scheme of things.
So here's one of the things that's always hard for me is the way the map for Star Wars is laid out, because it's like just flat and it's three-dimensional space, and I'm looking at it, my brain can't wrap my head around it.
Here, if you want to allow that sharing.
Yes, of course. So Atten's there, but can you pull it out a little bit? Where's Wayland? Mandalore. I always forget Wayland's so close to Mandalore.
Yeah. Let's see. Yep. Close to several. I don't know if
I have a.
This is zoomed out a bit more, or maybe this is zoomed more in. Oh, that's at Akron, which is near Batu. Okay. Strategic placement near Dathomir and Mandalore. Further teases Grand Admiral Thrawn. Unlocking his plan. Night Sisters. First Order. It seems like it's in the main part of the galaxy, if not, a little to the outside. I mean, we have this guy.
That's what I've got open, and I'm having a hard time finding. It's always so hard when I'm just looking for like, where is Mandalore? Like, I wish there was a way where there was a key to like go. Oh, you go to because these are all listed with numbers and letters.
It's not. I mean, I can look at the unknown regions and see that it's not in the unknown regions.
The outer rim is like the top, and then the unknown regions is the bottom of that map. Because it's like Latatok is in the unknown regions. Nal Hutta is like in the middle. It's in Hut space. So
yeah,
Warriors like you fucking nerds.
I just.
Oh no, Mandalorian space. Mandalorian space. It's in this upper. This is Mandalorian spaces up here.
Okay, yeah, so, it's right outside the middle.
It's like right here.
So yeah, it would be closer to the outer rim than it
So
would be
it's
to the unknown
it's
region.
mid rim, outer rim.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that would not quite work. But I like the idea of them I love the idea of them looking for something. So I kind of put in like, are there unknown and the unknown regions, if there's like Sith items, like
Well,
artifacts?
and at this point, it could also be they could also be looking for this because that's all, like the timeline, those existed during this time, right?
Yeah.
It may be that they're trying to eliminate them, because I think Skeleton Crew's placed like 5 years after Return of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Okay, let's go with that. I like that. It's an interesting thing. Looking for one of the Jewels of the Republic.
Yeah.
Plus, it's it adds right into something that's on right now.
Yeah.
In the outer, not in the outer regions, in the unknown regions. Okay. The Brazier's a science is a science or it's an exploration vehicle vessel, like your exploration crew, right?
Mm-hmm.
Science. Okay, I think we've talked about this before. I just can't remember.
Good boy.
Okay. Is there anything you guys saw out there where you're like, oh, we saw some shit?
I think the first thing that came to mind, which can be anecdotal, is space whales. I was just like, space whales.
Purgles. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. We followed them around for a while. Like, this is cool. Space whales.
Well, it's a cool idea too, just like trying to figure out like what they do and where they go.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And what else? How much so does Star Wars space work like actual space? Like, are there things like black holes and
yes,
that kind of shit? Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think they like located a black hole. I don't think they got near it because they're like, we know better. We're scientists, but
well, you could just be like Han Solo and use it as a slingshot.
Yeah, just a light.
What'd y'all name the black hole?
I gotta think about it.
Okay. Okay, we'll come back to it.
Viscera.
No, he didn't call it Viscera.
All right, we'll give Warrior a break.
Give me a minute.
Jack Swagger.
What?
Jack Swagger. Just trying to think of people who are like black holes of charisma.
They could have just called it the Jericho Vortex because that's where Curry's going to die.
Vortex. Let's call it the Jericho Vortex. I like that.
Okay.
That's very funny.
Oh, how about if it was like there was a bunch of junked ships on the rim of it, and so you were like, "Hey, this is where careers and ships go to die."
Yeah, we definitely said that for sure.
Is orbited by many a scuttled vessel. Is that what Nando said, or did somebody else say that? Who can we attribute this to?
I think Nando definitely said that. That sounds like something Nando would say. It feels like a Nando line.
Instead of ships, we're just going to put men. Men in careers go to die.
Men in careers go to die. Absolutely.
Oh God. It works on so many levels. Ahmed Johnson, you leave Ahmed and Pearl River out of your mouth.
Love Ahmed
You've
Johnson.
seen that. You've seen that picture. Just hog hanging to the left hard.
We love Ahmed Johnson in this house. We respect Ahmed Johnson in this house.
I mean,
Did you respect him when he went to WCW and he was Big T?
No.
Where he put on like 70 pounds and he was just like a round man.
Listen, we all make mistakes.
I know that Stevie Ray
skin tight jean shorts.
I know Stevie Ray has commented multiple times that him being forced to team with Big T was a huge mistake.
I believe it.
He was not a fan. Okay. Jeez. Okay. Let's go back to you, Duolingo. So we've got that wrapped up. Were there any other interesting things that you did out at Starlight Beacon, which I can't really name the planets around that. I've already forgotten.
What's that?
Out by Starlight Beacon during the Clone Wars.
Like what planet it was near?
I'm just trying to remember where it is. It was on the Outer Rim. I know that. I just can't remember what the planets were around it.
Yeah.
Because it was destroyed during the High Republic, but in our continuity, it was being rebuilt. It was like constantly being rebuilt.
Yeah.
Because it was built in 232 BBY.
That's old.
Is old, dog.
You're thinking 232, baby.
That's right, baby.
It's the Hiram system.
232 BBY.
232, baby. How with a baby.
Baby. That's right, daddy.
That's right.
I realized the other day that Dusty does not say dude, and he doesn't say brother, which is, I feel like, a missed opportunity for Dusty. If he would have snuck in some dudes and brothers, although he does say Jack a lot, but I think that's because Jack was like a 1970s version.
Yeah, it feels of an era for sure.
So yeah, what other business did you get up to while you were out there that might be a string we can pull?
Tell us about some of these crew members.
Oh, I'm talking to you right now, Beard.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking to
Over to you.
Yeah, I switched over to you, son.
Listen to
I mean, I guess it depends on if this was before Order 66 or after Order 66.
We know what happened Order 66. We know what went down. We played that game. I want to know what we had that. You survived that horrible time where y'all forgot that it was actually a game where Order 66.
Hey, listen. We got engrossed in your narrative. All right. Also, we didn't know whether Order 66 was going to happen during Extra Life or after Extra Life.
I believe I said it was going to happen during, but I will take the compliment because I felt like that game was very, very good.
It was super immersive. You
know what the sad part is? I don't remember what the game was before that Order 66. I don't remember what we were doing. I just remember the reveal and you guys being like, I'm sorry, what? What just happened? Oh yeah, they shot me in the head.
It ended up we were searching for John Manning's character, and it ended up not being that character, and then we killed him anyway.
No, that was Scum and Villainy.
I know, but that's what happened. That was what we did before Order 66. Order 66 game is the first time we ever played those Jedis.
Yeah, that's it. I'm just talking about that game. That happened before all the Scum and Villainy stuff timeline-wise.
That happened before all the Scum and Villainy stuff?
Yeah, it took Scum and Villainy is where we're at timeline wise now. It's 9 BBY. The Star Wars game for Extra Life, where you guys were all Jedis, that took place pre Order 66, right into Order 66.
I didn't realize Scum and Villainy was that late in the timeline.
Yeah, it's 9 it's 10 BBY, I think is when it was. Like you guys were right when Alari Marin, her family gets arrested, and one of her parents, I can't remember when John said it was, gets arrested for like seditious conspiracy against the Senate. And she's like an attaché for another senator who steps down, and she's like, well, fuck this. You want seditious conspiracy. How about I just commit sedition? And then gets on a prison transport ship. Breaks a bunch of people out. And then that game went on, and then your game was like, oh, we're gonna kill this lady for money or capture her. Whatever. If she's dead, she's captured.
Just saying.
Yeah.
I felt like it was very Trandoshan.
I thought it was very Trandoshan. I thought it was very Bounty Hunter of you all.
Yeah. I mean, so you could come in warm or you can come in cold.
And then you have a poor Jawa medic making his way through the galaxy. Just gets caught up in this shit.
Changes the way he spells his name every time.
I never changed the way that I spelled his name. Others misspelled his name.
I do feel like those miniseries stand up very well.
No, I do too. Those games were super fun. I love those.
Y'all's games, and then Shan's games as well. They interconnected just right. I wish John would have played a little bit more, because I did love the fact that he basically guilted a Inquisitor into like thinking about changing their life, and then they shot him in the moment of his like, maybe I will help you, maybe I'll flee with you, and then they were just like, we all gun him down.
Wait, who's John?
John Maddening.
Oh,
that character, he played that character in a 3-part game.
Yeah. I completely forgot. Yeah.
That's where Shan's character got the matron got her arm cut off in that whole fight, because they were getting their asses whooped. They ran into an Inquisitor, and because one of the characters is force sensitive, the engineer, and then they were getting their asses whooped, and then John, whose character is like a politician, was like, I'm just going to talk. I'm just going to try to reason with this person. Like, I'm going to basically be like, hey, I get it. And he gives like a good 5 to 10 minute like speech back and forth with me, and I was like, make a roll for it, and he rolls like a 12 plus his 3. So I was like, okay, what happens? He was like, they turn the lightsaber off, and they were like, maybe I have fallen too far. Maybe what have I done? Type of thing. While this is going on, the other 3 players are like, I get my gun ready. And as soon as he's not paying attention, we just fucking light him up. I was like, you guys could have.
Trandoshan is the cold-blooded one.
I was like, you guys could have like had this guy like basically side with you. This person on a mission of redemption, and instead you're like, no, you die. You die right here. It's where you die.
Go to hell and you die.
All right. Anyway. Anything else?
Anyway.
So
meanwhile,
Gree and Joris, our good friend, and Obi-Wan and Anakin and the other Jedi Knights and the other Masters were just all sitting around having a little blue milk, definitely not spiked, just talking about all of the amazing things that have happened to bring us to this point. These little forays into the unknown regions. I kind of like the idea that have you read Up on Flight?
I have not.
Okay. So basically like they like send out all of these okay, so I'll walk it back. Joris. I was called him Seaboth. I don't think that that's actually how you pronounce it. I'm sure there's.
Sabioth?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like C''BAOUTH or something like that. Anyway, he basically like gets together like 6 masters and 12 Jedi Knights and like tens of thousands of people, and like are going to send them all into the unknown regions, and then like the Republic's like, nah, that's not going to happen, and then all of a sudden Joris foils an assassination attempt or a murder plot or something like that, and I can't remember even who they were trying to kill. But then they were like, okay, yeah, go ahead, it's fine, don't even worry. You go and have your little whatever outbound flight. And so they all go in this ship into the unknown space, and this is the weird thing. It's like I kind of love and hate this book because it's great. It's Timothy Zahn, so it's fantastic. But it's also kind of like, oh yeah, and then at this one point, Obi-Wan and Anakin just like, they just do this whole ass thing that that just exists. And I mean, this is prequels, so right? Prequels.
Outbound Flight, I think, is post prequels.
Is it?
Because I think that was where he started going back and like adding to the Thrawn mythology. That whole like, if I don't get to do it,
it's 2006. So yes, this is like post. This is like filling in like things that are happening. So it's just this like weird thing that happens, and I'm trying to remember like when BBY it's set. Because he mentions Outbound Flight in like the original Thrawn trilogy, and then he's just like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go 27 BBY. So it's set 27 BBY, which puts it at this really weird time, like in general.
It would have been pre-Clone Wars, I think.
Yeah, it's before the Clone Wars.
Okay.
That's the thing that's weird. But I mean, it starts to. It's basically like what they do right before the Clone Wars starts, which is weird because Anakin's with them. It's Anakin and Obi-Wan are like in this thing. His like very young Padawan student is with him. And it's so bizarre.
That is weird.
Right?
Because he would be like 7 years old or 8 years old. I'm just dragging this 8-year-old around.
So he would have been Anakin was born in 41 BBY. So if this is 27, he's 14.
Yeah.
So yeah, just wild. It's all fucking wild, right?
That whole Star Wars time schedule is very much like the Marvel time scale.
I mean, listen, I understand. Like for everybody who's like, I can't believe they jettisoned all of the canon of Legends. It's like I can't keep anything straight, man. Like, oh, we're gonna just strip it down to like the TV shows and the movies. Yeah, I know exactly why they did that.
Well, that's the thing too. Like,
whoop, whoop, whoop.
I was
green space bunny.
Yeah,
weird Anakin shape.
I was watching a thing about the failure of the New 52, and they were talking about how part of the reason that whole thing occurred was the person that Warner was putting in charge of they changed it from DC Comics to DC Entertainment, was basically telling Jim Lee and Dan DiDio, like, I'm going to come in and we're going to change like all this stuff. And they moved the offices out to LA from New York to make it this, synergistic entertainment thing.
Yeah.
And according to people who were involved in all of this, like the writers, they had no idea because Flashpoint was not supposed to lead into anything. It was supposed to reset the status quo. And then one issue in, Jeff Johns is told, no, this has got to be a thing that changes everything. So none of the writers of any of the other books were aware until like as this is getting ready to happen, and they're seeing it solicits. So they're like, well, what are the rules? And editorial was like, I don't know. They literally didn't know. They were like, we don't know what's going on. What about this character? I don't know.
That's crazy.
There were things where like people who were going to be writing Superman, Grant Morrison was writing Action, and I can't remember who was writing Superman. They had no communication because editorial was like, well, you don't need to talk. Because, well, and the person who's coming in after Morrison was like, well, what are we doing now? Because Morrison wrote him as like his first year or whatever as Superman. You know, what do we do? And editorial was like, I don't know. At one point, someone asked about Kryptonite for another book, and their reaction was, I'll have to ask whatever her name was that ran it, because she had a mandate for a while that Kryptonite wasn't going to be a thing. So they were like, we don't know if it exists now.
That's unhinged.
Yeah, there was
That's
like, I can't remember who all the people they had quotes from throughout all this. And I know like Gail Simone was basically like, there were parts of us like Amanda Connor and some of these other folks who just like, we just isolated ourselves to our little corners of the DC universe. And we're like, don't touch anything. Just and they were talking about like Scott Steiner. You got a 33% chance of editorial changing your book. Scott Snyder's like Batman run came out of that merely because they were like, Batman we're not going to fiddle with too much. And they had him coming on, and then when it just took off, they were like, just leave him alone. So they were like Jeff Lemire's Animal Man. Like one of the things they said that he had pointed out, he was like, the reason I could get away with is what I got away with on that book, because no one cared. And then they have like Didio being like video of him saying like, we had this plan in place where if your book hit a certain number of where you were below a certain amount, we just cut the book. So people and they were like, yeah, this is what pissed people off, is there were people writing and, you know, doing the art and inking and coloring for those books. And sometimes those books had big ramp ups and they never got there because editorial just killed them. Ugh. And then Jim Lee couldn't do editorial work because he was too busy drawing all these books.
Oh yeah.
So he was like everywhere during that time period, apparently, which is very frustrating because he was like, well, I was told my job was this, but it was not. It was just my name on it. So they were like, yeah, the New 52 was just kind of like, the first year apparently did really well, and then the second year it dropped off dramatically. So it was interesting to hear, because the guy was talking about it in the same like zeitgeist as things like Disney killing the legend stuff and all this, saying, you know, like these large lore built entities, every once in a while their corporate masters are like, we got to reboot because we can't bring in new people. And the problem is they're realizing is you probably are never going to bring in new people. Your core group is going to be the people that are with you the whole time. So you've got to sell them on the new version as well. And they were using the new DC universe as the all-in thing as like how to do it successfully, because they were saying like all-in has been really good for DC right now, like across the board to a shocking degree, because the expectations were so low.
Sure. Bars in hell, you guys.
And then they also did the absolute books at the same time, which made them feel like this is parallel, but you don't have to do one to do the other. And that they're different enough that, well, they're not different enough. They're so different. I don't know if either one of you have been keeping up with that, but that is wildly different in some interesting ways. But you know, they were saying like this is how this is the ever shrinking lifespan of universes in modern culture, because they were saying, look how long it took for Crisis on Infinite Earths to happen, and then just look at how many reboots for DC has happened since then, which arguably has a longer continuity than Marvel does. And they're like, look how many times Marvel's done the same thing. Not the cosmic wide reboot, but the
No.
kind of the statement of intent reboot. So
Yeah.
So really, as Star Wars fans, we've gotten off light so far.
Yeah, one.
Yeah, one. And it was mainly like, hey, all that other stuff, it probably didn't happen.
Yeah, it might have.
It might have.
But
Depends on how Dave and
we want to make action figures of it,
Yeah.
and then it definitely happened.
it depends on how Dave feels. If Dave feels it's okay, then he sticks it in stuff.
Dave, you wanna put this guy in a TV show or cartoon? Okay.
I also had no idea that George Lucas created Cad Bane.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, apparently he that was something that he and Filoni talked about because of the hat. That he told Filoni that Cad Bane is the Lee Van Cleef to Boba Fett's Clint Eastwood in The Good and the Bad and the Ugly.
That's interesting. I like that.
I like that a lot. I was like, oh wow.
Can I say something? I drew this, and can I tell you how infuriating it is that I added in that little like cargo clamp later, and it's off center to the top of the G6 freighter that's moored on top of it. It's like just slightly off center, and it's driving me bananas.
I like it. I like the asymmetry of Star Wars.
I feel like it needs to be bigger, like it needs to move more, or it needs to be like, it needs to be like in line. I like that it's asymmetrical. I think it just like either needs to like from an aerodynamic standpoint, you want like this to line up, or you want it to like shift over here. But I tried to keep this like double wing here, so when the freighter left, that you could still have the wings come out like B-wing style. But this is like absolutely huge. Like I said, some of these other sketches are very fun because they feel more like they're that kind of freighter scale, but to like have a freighter on top of a freighter, it's like a little like
that might be a little bit big.
I heard
then you're talking about
it's
like a frigate with a freighter on top.
Yeah.
Also, I love when Warrior,
when
when you're looking off to this like this into the blue light, it looks like you're a Darwin Cook drawing, like in thought of like what will come.
Yeah, this is
I like that.
I have no idea what you're doing, but you look good doing it.
Thank you.
You look real nice.
I'm just appearing stoic for the camera. Just the eye can't be.
Yeah, it's true. You're doing a good job. All right.
Thank you.
Hey, before we jump back in, can I solicit you into telling me which nights you have free for gaming? I can't remember. Was it Tuesday and Friday?
Friday's usually free. Yeah, Friday's the best one. Tuesdays are a little iffy. I have a every other week Tuesday game, but a lot of times stuff comes up and we just shift to the other Tuesday. So Friday is the best day for sure.
Just checking.
Yeah.
Because we always want Warrior.
What does everybody need? Warrior. What does everybody
I think that we should jettison Zach Card or whatever his name is, and Shmi Skywalker should be the
fuck off.
She should be the like crime lord. She got all that money. She's just pretending, man.
I don't even know who that is. I mean, I know the name Skywalker.
It's Anakin's mom.
It's his slave mom who dies because Sand People kill her. And
yeah,
because she was a crime lord and she was keeping the Sand People down. Just saying.
All right. Anyway, so was there anything else besides that you want to? And that was in. What did you say the BBY date was for the outbound flight?
27 BBY. Yes, because Anakin was born in 41 BBY.
Okay.
Also, can I just say that in the novelization, the graphics for the novelization of Outbound Flight, Jorg Cardis looks like freaking like skinny George Lucas.
Most of my weight I carry in the chin flap.
Excuse me, I have a Van Dyke mustache.
It's like a pelican.
or everyone from Corellia wears a white shirt open so you can see their chest as well as a vest.
It's called Jizz.
It's a brown colored. It's a brown colored vest.
It's space jazz.
We like to go to the Jizz bar, and we just like to jizz out.
Both of ours are kind of mediocre. Colin is the best at the George Lucas.
Colin does a good George.
Also, Warrior, did you get a Christmas gift from me?
Not yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't seen Warrior yet.
Okay, I'm sorry, just asking, God.
It's a good question.
Hey, Warrior, what are you doing on Friday?
Nothing. Nothing.
Sick.
All right.
Well, maybe you'll get it this week. Hi-yo.
Anything else that they saw? Are there anything that they did between that time period and the end of the Clone Wars? Anything you kind of want to weave a lore drop into? Or
I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I'll talk with Nate and see if there's anything that we can noodle about, because I know he and I talked about it previously, but I just I can't recall, and I can't find my notes.
Okay, that works. Warrior, was there anything else you guys saw besides the Jericho Vortex and Purgles?
Jericho Vortex and Space Whales.
Hell yeah, Jericho Vortex.
I don't know. I don't know enough Star Wars stuff.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Just kind of toss out. If you toss out like a very broad sci-fi idea between my dumb brain and Beard's dumb brain,
and Beard's dumb brain between the dumb brain.
I want to know. Well, I want to know. So you have a Bothan, you have a bunch of humans,
a Hutt, and
then you have a Hutt and a Gamorrean and a Wookiee on your crew, and I was like.
Those are the survivors, right? Those were just the survivors.
Those are the survivors. Yeah.
I mean, those are the people that count.
Okay. Damn.
Well, I don't want to be like, hey, Warrior, can you come up with origin stories for all your dead crew members? That seems a little morbid.
Maybe Warrior had a deep connection with one of those.
Maybe he did.
Maybe
he did steal one of their jobs.
But he doesn't right now.
He did just decide he was captain. I'm captain now.
I'm captain. Someone's got to be captain. Have you met these other people?
Might as well be me.
I mean, arguably, Felicia is far more qualified.
Yeah.
You got a Pauline, a Wookiee, human, astromech droid, Hutt.
But who's the astromech droid?
They had R5D7, who is currently with Corboy.
Did we?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, with Corboy. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
One of the humans surviving is from Alderaan.
Yes.
That's not going to end well.
Oh yeah, Corboy.
Yep.
The Archivist. Warrior gave me like a rundown on his whole crew, and I was like, I need to figure out how many people are going to be in this ship. Because I was like, oh yeah, I'll just make it this little like.
I also love the fact that you made the Gamorrean the ship's counselor, and then he's currently doing counseling work for the Gree. Makes me so fucking happy.
Feel better.
You thought about smashing things.
You're weak.
Do another rep. All right.
Push. You're not pushing.
Warrior, was there anything else that you all saw where you're like, oh, that's a thing? Did you see any Imperials out this far?
I mean, sure we did.
Okay.
Like,
did you interact with them?
What is the vibe with Imperials at this? Because like
they would have just been. Well, if you would have encountered them, it would have been. Well, you've been there for 8 years. It's maybe. That's 15. Yeah, I would have been. They would have been around.
Okay.
Because I believe the Empire takes over in BB-15, BBY.
Yeah, so what's, but like, I mean, for your average space Lothario.
Okay, so the Empire starts in 19.
You know,
the Empire starts in 19 BBY. So yeah, because it would have been 10 years.
19 BBY?
The Empire starts.
What didn't happen in 19 BBY?
If you don't remember,
it happened in 19 BBY, Stace. I think that, but I mean, like, so right, we've established there that this is basically just a, you know, ragtag's probably not quite the word, but they're like a crew of like anarcho scientists who are like cool.
Well, you're also far enough out that
Yeah.
if you encounter Imperial ships, it's going to be like not like a fleet or an armada. It's going to be small
Yeah,
patrols.
but I guess what I'm but like, what is the, like, I don't know enough to know like what the Imperial vibe is at the time. Like, would most people be like, oh shit, it's the cops, or or
Probably
like,
not at this point because you're far enough out that
Jesus,
like,
cops.
Jesus, it's the cops.
Okay, listen, it's the cops. I completely forgot about the fact until I was watching Newsies for the first time with Greta, and they literally say that, it's the cops. And I was like,
you say
I've
that in
been saying this
Newsies?
for years and never realized it was from a childhood
I-
movie I had seen once.
I fully did not know that was. I
didn't either.
I feel like I thought that was like
I'm sure it's probably from something
Simpsons
else,
or
like they
something.
referenced it. I feel like a Kevin Smith movie said that, like
probably.
Jay probably said that, but like,
Yeah,
it's literally
Fucking
from
Jay.
Newsies. So
that's so weird.
It is
right.
weird.
It was
I
like
mean, it's
when
probably
I
it's probably like a legitimately like an old timey
Sure, yeah.
slang phrase, but yeah.
It's like when I rewatched the Colt Cabana El Generico thing promo, and like I realized that when I'm like, no, that's from the end where he's just like, come on, Generico, let's go get laid, and he's just like, no. I was like, yep, didn't realize that like two of the things I probably say the most in like dumb conversation come from the El Generico Colt Cabana 2.5 minute long promo.
I mean, it's a pretty good promo.
What hasn't PWG given us? Let's be honest.
That's a true story.
Right?
Hybrid dolphins.
Lots of superstars, fond nostalgia, probably syphilis. It's
Well,
like it's all there.
You take the good, you take the bad. And both, and here you have PWG.
Yeah, baby.
You're taking something. That's like their.
So I would say the vibe out this far would basically be like cautious, because this is probably early enough where there isn't a full like stormtrooper corps. You're probably out there seeing clones still. You're not seeing Star Destroyers. You're probably seeing acclimators and venators. So it feels a lot like Meet the New Boss, same as the old boss.
Yeah, I mean, I think they would keep their distance, generally speaking, to their ability, but they'd maybe like, I feel like they would sort of like tail them a little bit, because I feel like Talon would that would be info that Talon would want.
Would you interact with them though? I think was my question.
Oh, would they interact?
Would it be like hey, they want to do a search and check your transponders codes? You let them on board and go, look, we're a legitimate exploration science vessel.
I mean,
and they go, yes.
I don't think they would. I don't think they would like volunteer for a search, but they would certainly. That would be the vibe if they did get searched. I feel like they would do some like light, kind of bartering. Like we're kind of out on the outskirts. Like you need a, like I could see Mando's vessel getting like flagged down, being like, we said we need XYZ supplies, and we're like, yeah, well, wink wink motherfucker, but like, what are you gonna give us for that? What are you gonna give us for the? So I think we maybe lightly extorted some of them. I think we've lightly extorted some of the Imperials out there. Like, I think it's a very ACAP crew. And so I think that they're like,
are they ACAB now during the Clone Wars, or are they ACAB after the Clone Wars?
I think
because the Clone Wars was like, well, it's the middle of a war, so who are you rooting for? The tech bro venture capitalists, or for a corrupt government, because either way you lose.
I feel like I think we like lightly covered this in that like that he was Nando, and I think by extension his crew were very like
I love how at this point Nando's not captain, but they're his crew.
there's crew,
They're
and the
my
captain.
these are my people.
Like I think that they were always sort of like this war sucks and we hate it, but like we'll you know it's a good time to make $1. It's a good time to like you know do your shit. So like I don't think they were like hard into either side or hard against either side. They were just like, I hope this shit is over soon because it blows. So I think that like, yeah, I mean, I think that they would like, but I do think that, in the broad sense of like corrupt government authority, they would be like, yeah, you can, yeah, we'll help you. You're going to pay for it like a lot, but like, sure.
Okay, I would ask, what kind of vibe did you get back from him?
I think that they probably, I would imagine that they got a very unpleasant vibe back. I think that, I think that that's not anything they would ever want to hear. And I think that like they probably, got a few sort of like parting shots across their bow every now and again, not to like try to, blow them up, but just to like, fuck you guys, like, remember who we are, like on your way out, sort of
So,
like, yeah.
Here's a, and again, you can tell me no. What if this ship had been out and was coming back? Like, is coming back, like, has been out for a while. And it's coming back, and they do hit you up for supplies. And one of the reasons they do want to go on your ship is they are looking for Jedi. Because it's like these people are now criminals because they tried to kill the Chancellor. And they committed a conspiracy to kill the leader of the government. So, which kind of technically Mace Windu did. So,
I mean, I don't think that. I mean, if we recall, like Nando also has no real love for the Jedi. He's like, fucking space nerds, like gross. I think he literally called them space nerds.
I believe he did too.
So yeah, he's like, oh cool, like the space incels are here. It's like dope. So like, I don't think that he. Yes, but I think that
does Nando have certain feelings towards clones?
No, I think Nando probably has like lightly benevolent feeling toward clones. Like he would very much, from the perspective of they don't have a choice in the matter. Okay. But clones should be treated as humans or whatever. Like I think he's very like clone rights. Is sort of like his vibe broadly. But yeah, so I think he like, and I think like he doesn't hold super strong opinions about like these like larger geopolitical things in general, because he doesn't, it's like, what am I going to do about it? So I think, like Jedi, he's like, yeah, they kind of creep me out. They're weird, like, but I do like the idea that he would, or that the captain, whoever is negotiating with these Imperials, would want to get paid off in information or like data. Like, I think that's a fun vibe. I like that.
So one thing I'll say that then you have in your person now that your captain had is a stop and detain order. So what it is, it's a lot like what you see bounty hunters have like now in the Mando stuff, except for it's a list of Jedi, because that's one thing that they would give to bounty hunters and other things. And rather than like the cease and desist for the Empire, it's called stop and detain. So like they have a list of stop and detain people. So, if you're just a normal dude and you run into you see that person on a stop and detain, you can
Mhm.
literally like citizen arrest them. It
Oh,
probably won't go well for you
no,
because
I
that person
can't
you're trying to
imagine
stop and detain will
is
probably just be like, fuck off and die. So,
right. Yeah.
but I would say this as well. If you do have that, I'll let you
Mhm.
decide. It could have got destroyed in the crash. Both Duo and Bree would be on that.
Yeah, that's fun. I was gonna say, I hope they're on it.
Yeah,
That would
they
be
would definitely be on that.
Nando definitely has it. Whether
Yep.
Nando like remembers any of the names that are on there in
It's like
you know,
it's like in a
like
junk box at the foot of Nando's bed, just full of
yeah,
stuff.
he's like, cool, thanks for the paper. But like I'm sure he's looked at it, but it doesn't seem, I think if I'm being authentic to like who Nando is, he's like, okay, and he's like, and I think even especially since the crash, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna detain them until nobody comes. Cool. Like, like I
Well, I think
don't.
the other interesting thing is, do the other members of the crew, are they aware of it? Have they seen it?
I think so. I
Okay,
think that it was, probably like
because
on a magnet on the fridge. It
but
was
yeah, a
probably
bunch of science anarchists may also go, oh, wait a second, like what if they do come and we are now like affiliated with these guys? What do we do?
mhm.
What will that mean for us? Also, do
Yeah.
we just turn them in, take the money, and go back out and be like, nope, fuck you guys, we're not coming back this time.
I mean, I think that like that's an interesting question, though. I mean, that's like I think that when you think about what we see in Star Wars, yeah, and again, I have only seen the movies, so like, but is this it's a lot of people who are capable of addressing in some way these threats. And when you think of like, it's a science vessel, like it's a bunch of people who like are, conscientious objectors at best, are like, I'm sure it has some weapons because you don't want to, but like, they're not gonna, they're not gonna. So I think, they're like, I think there's a lot of short-term problem solving happening when they're on their journey. They're like, these Imperials are here now, and it's like, that's a great thought down the line if something else happens, but like that's a then problem, you
Well, and you're
know?
also, it's not like you can outrun that ship because you're not
No,
actually built for that.
no,
And
absolutely.
they're like 10 times bigger than you are.
Right.
So, and they've got a full complement of fighters. So it's like,
Hmm.
okay, yeah, you want to come on the ship, fine. Tractor beam us in. If that's
Hmm.
what you really want to spend your time on, you
Hmm.
know,
Yeah. Because they're not stupid,
yeah,
so they're like, yeah, we're not gonna, yeah,
yeah, you don't want to. I fought the law and the law won by being just dust in the middle of space
correct.
after the law won.
Hmm.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense to me. Thank you. All right,
Sure.
one thing, Beard, that last thing I'll kind of hit you up for before we do one little thing, and then we'll call it early. Um, what did you find on Jarek's ship? I'll let you choose 5 items, and you can ask Nate to choose 5 items. But 5 things you found on Jarek's ship. You didn't have a lot of time to dig through it before it was taken in, and you haven't seen it since. So what are 5 things you found on Jarek's ship? I can't hear you. Did you mute yourself?
This is the Edda.
Yeah.
That's a
This
great.
beat up, shitty ship that he'd been on. One reason I decided it's an Edda is because an Edda is like a kind of a bigger shuttle. And since he'd been out there for like 10 years or so, he's just been hoarding things that he's found.
I mean, my thing that I'm not very happy about, and I haven't used them, but I think, well, so how much do we know? Like, are we talking about Jarek is bad?
So the only thing to remember about Jarek is Jarek left into the unknown regions basically to prove a point.
Yeah.
Because he was not made a member of the council, and he
Yes.
felt like it was kind of his turn, because
Yeah.
you know that's kind of how that council works in some
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
So he went out to prove, like, you know, I can do something no one else can do, and that is, like, I'm an archaeologist, basically.
Yeah.
Or not. I'm a archaeologist, paleontologist,
Yeah.
basically, like. And he went, and he was gone for a long time.
Yeah.
He doesn't really turn to the dark side fully until he goes with Tremaine, who is a former ally of his in the Jedi Order. So when you guys meet him the first time, that's like him just starting to finally decide, like, this isn't going to work for me anymore. There's no order, because that's the whole thing, is like there was no order to return to go, look what I did, now give me my just
I mean,
action.
I think that we find I think that we find both a Jedi and a Sith holocron.
Okay.
I would say that that's two of the things. I think for some reason he has a kyber crystal that's not the one that's in his lightsaber. I think that he has some sort of Chiss relic. And I'm not sure what it is, but I feel like something.
What if it was like a Chiss? What do they call it? They have a different name for it, but it's basically like the mantra of the Chiss. You know, it's like their military statement.
Yeah, I think that's good. Like whatever, like the ascendancy, whatever thing.
Like the Ascendancy Creed.
Yeah. I think that makes sense.
It's a set of beliefs. Yeah, it is. It's a Chiss Ascendancy Creed.
Okay.
It's actually like, yeah, it's like literally you can just look it up. So it's like beliefs, actions, history, but there's also like a little blurb about it. Interesting. Okay, so Chiss Creed.
Okay. And then
So one thing I know you know of, like, things that are out there, and I would not mind if you found one of those things, like something to do with the Grysk, something potentially to do with, I've already dropped the bomb that the Tong are still alive out here, and also the Pious Day.
yeah, my challenge is Nate knows way more about that stuff than I do.
Okay.
And
you know who the Tong are, right?
Not to this extent.
So the Tong were the Mandalorians before they were Mandalorians. They were the aliens who were the original Mandalorians.
Okay.
Who literally warred themselves into extinction.
Yeah.
Let's just go commit more war. But in the process, they just started taking in, basically, they would offer people they conquered, like, then you can join us and be Mandalorian. That's kind of where the creed comes in, is the Tong are the originators of the creed.
I'm going to say that he has Beskar.
Okay.
And I'm going to say that he has, I'm trying to think of something.
The only other thing I would suggest, just throwing it out here, what if he has evidence of the Nihil?
I think that Nate would be better at that. Right. Nate, like when you said Jarek, Nate's eyes lit up, and I was like, I don't know who you're talking about, because I never played.
Nate played those games, yeah.
I never played those games. So like when you said that, I was like, nope, don't know what you're talking about. So I would say that's something here. I would say
the Nihil is from the New Republic or the High Republic books.
Yeah, and I have them, but I haven't dug in super hard. I'm going to say he has he's got an ice cream machine full of Beskar. And I'll let Nate fill in other cool Jarek shit, because I know he has, I know he knows more about just like that whole lineage that would be fun and cool.
sometime when you're over here next, remind me and I'll let you borrow my Tales of the Jedi trade, the old Dark Horse one that it's got the big war between Eula Qualdroma, Exar Kun, and Mando the Mandalorian, the Invincible, where they fight the Jedi Order on Onderon.
I would love to read that.
It's very good, and it's something that gets brought up like all the time. Okay, so Jedi Holocron, we are going to. Have you looked at the Jedi Holocron yet?
I'm going to say we haven't had a whole lot of time. There's a Jedi and a Sith holocron. Yes. A Kyber crystal. The whatever those things are called, ice cream machine full of Beskar.
We're just going to say it's a small stash of pure Beskar ore.
Yeah. A Camtono. A Camtono of Beskar.
Camtono.
Yeah, it's the thing that what's his name? Wilro Hood. Wilro Hood. It's like the guy who's running through Cloud City, and he's literally carrying an old ice cream. They made a prop out of an ice cream machine, and then they used it again in the Mandalorian, and that's what I'd like to see the baby. He had like a Camtono full of Beskar.
Bounty hunting is a dangerous profession, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
I think my I can't remember that dude's name now. It's not bad.
What?
I think my dude, I can't remember the actor or the director or actor's name, who played the client, who talks like this. Bounty hunting is a dangerous profession, don't you think? Werner Herzog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, like Paul F. Tompkins does like all these interviews as Werner Herzog.
Yes, so good.
And they showed them to Werner Herzog, and he was like, I don't sound exactly like that, but he is very talented.
That's amazing.
It's very entertaining. Okay, so we got that. Let me. I think we wrote down what that would be, but not here. Maybe it was here. Sorry, I'm trying to consolidate
all of them.
I saw that. That's not it. One second, please.
Okay.
Enhance.
Love that.
Also, I don't know if either one of you will have the time or interest, but we are doing. We're going to start the next miniseries of DC Showcase Presents towards the end of the month. We're going to probably do it on Fridays or Saturdays, since that's when Mitch can make it, and this is kind of Mitch's
jam.
Everybody's been like, okay, this is Mitch's game. He did come up with the craziest shit possible and kept it sort of in lore. I mean, he did turn out to at one point remove his mask and be God damn it, who did he turn out to be?
I can't remember.
He's the author that writes the wild ass books. Who wears a bag on his head. Chuck Tingle. Yeah. He was Chuck Tingle. He had become a because it was all to do with like collapsing multiverses. Chuck Tingle's multiverse was the What If fan fiction.
It's amazing.
It was really, really shocking and quite fucking outstanding. God, I can't find the stupid thing. Okay, apparently I lost that altogether. Anyway, meanwhile, I'm just always just looking at
stuff like that.
Nothing like the entertainment of dead silence.
Yeah, baby. Woo. You know we love it. Bow, 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 bow.
Okay. So the holocron you found, I will tell you now, is from a Jedi who's a member of the Order of the Terrible Glare, which is an actual thing. So at least we got that one out of the way, and that ties into other stuff I wanted to do anyway. All right, Warrior, was there anything else y'all saw out there?
Nothing I can think of.
Me too, Shaggy.
Nothing
Okay.
I can think of. Yeah.
This is one of those things that it's open-ended, so if you think of anything later on, we can always put it in there. Like I said last time, it's like I want to give you enough room to paint in like cool shit. All right. So this brings us to where I wanted to pick up real quick. We won't be very long, but you all have just seen this Grysk ship arrive via footage from the Gree in the system, and they basically have told you. We don't want anyone to know we're here. We don't know who the Chiss Ascendancy are, and we certainly don't know who the Grysk are, beyond us having to kill a whole lot of them, and them killing a whole lot of us. When we went into that Chiss listening station, would you be willing to go handle this for us? The thing I want to get across is the Grysk have normal sounding voices through vocoders. They don't talk to you in their own tongue, or they don't speak basic except for through a machine. As you guys are all kind of looking at each other across the room, you both catch something out of the corner of your eye. You see a human woman being escorted by 2 Grysk through the hallway. Someone you've never seen before.
We've never seen her before.
You don't know who that is. Another human here.
Does it look like it's brusque, or does it look like is she being escorted, or is she being escorted?
No, she doesn't appear to be restrained at all. She actually appears to be talking to Gree. And you just happen to, so you have this conference room you're in is got wide windows on all 4 sides, and you look, and through the window, through another window, you see in a window of another part, because the Gree have a weird, everything's very open looking, see these people walking. It just happens to catch because you're like, wait a second, what did I just see?
I think that what Nando would authentically do in this situation is, when the question is posed to them, will you handle this? Nando will look over at Duo and be like, I think they're talking to you. And then Nando is going to try to go find this human.
Is Nando I have to use the little Nando's room?
Yeah. It's I have to.
All right.
I gotta go make it ringing from my mirror.
How are we going to go about doing this, Nando?
I think Nando will just be like, I gotta go.
Leaving the rooms on hard. Taggart just
sure.
kind of lets you go.
Yeah, it's just,
how are you going to go about? Because you've never been here.
Can he still see this person?
You're losing sight of them.
Can he?
They're 2 hallways over.
But he can see the auras of people, right? So he can follow the aura, right?
You do that. I would like you to how would you want to do that? Let's have you let me pull up the Star Wars rules.
Let me pull up his character sheet. And,
It's so funny. I never have these out when I'm supposed to, and then when I look for them, I can never fucking find them. There they are.
there's Nando.
There's the guy.
There he is.
There's our good boy.
There's our boy.
You can make a sharp for me.
There's our boy.
Sharp is an 8.
Okay.
That it was hot and cool, but not very sharp.
Okay. You think you can, but as you're like going and you hit the next set of doors, you start to open the next set. As they start to open, you see 2 Gree in conversation coming down the hallway towards you.
Then he'll be like, hey guys, hey, what's up? Did you see a human go? Did you see the human go this way?
They look at you strangely, and then they look at each other, and one of them starts to talk into in Gree into a comlink.
What are you doing? Hey, I know you did. Just tell me. I'm not gonna snitch on you. I don't even hear your name.
Do you want to try to manipulate? Do you want to be hot?
Yeah.
Do you want to hot up these Gree?
If I gotta be hot, I'd be hot.
Shaggy, thank you.
It's a 9. Oh, wait, sorry, let me double check. Yeah, 9.
One of them is like kind of into this and like put tentacles on top of the comlink, like, whoa, let's hear them out. The other one's like, no.
Don't do it. Just point.
At that point, you get a feeling of that aura, and that aura is really strong. So let's go back to the room. Duo, what are you doing? Nando gets up and is like, excuse me, I got to use a little Nando's room, and walks out. Taggart's like, what? Okay, sure. What?
And the Gree are escorting this woman through the space that we are in right now.
No, so you're in a conference room setting with like a holo projector in the middle,
Okay.
and the Gree, in my mind, have just like a lot of glass.
Okay.
And so you can see like all over the place all the time. It's almost kind of disorienting. So you see, and what you're realizing, it's not the hallway outside this room or the next hallway, it's the next hallway over. You catch out of the corner of your eye a human form, and you kind of like catch it, and at first you're like, that's that what? And then you actually turn and look, and you're like, that's human female.
I'm going to reach out with a force and see if I pick anything up off her.
Okay, go ahead.
Force vibe check. What do I roll for that?
If you don't have an ability for it, I will allow you to trust your instincts.
Okay. Oh, Duolingo.
I can't
Oh,
remember.
crap.
You're a consular? No, you're a...
I am. I'm a counselor. Sorry, I have to bring up my dude. Oh, where are you? Documents. Oh, for crying out loud.
Out loud?
Playbook.
Also a warrior.
That's so cool. That
And it comes with this little guy with him.
I love a little guy.
It's like I got my own robot guy.
He's just a little guy.
He's just a little guy.
It's just-
Also, warrior. I haven't seen you in so long. It came in.
Oh, yeah.
oh shit. Nice. Love that.
Gender swapped Adam Page. Michael.
That's a 9er.
A 9?
Yeah.
You like reach out with the force and you feel the force. You feel this, and then you're rebuffed strongly in the force.
Can I tell if it's from her or from an external force?
Oh, it's from her. Like it's obviously from her.
Oh.
So think about like Professor X like reaching out with his mind, and someone equally as powerful is like fuck off. That's basically.
But is it a fuck off like hey, don't blow my spot, or is it fuck off like angry?
It's more like I don't know you. Back the fuck up.
Maybe she get to know me.
Fair.
I'm gonna.
Are you also gonna be like, I gotta go to the bathroom?
No.
So
I'm just thinking
John Hughes movie?
Just thinking if I can do anything. I'm trying to think of some dumb Jedi shit that I could do that would like let her know that. I mean, that's dangerous. But we're far enough out here that I'm kind of like, oh, I just got to give her the mental Jedi handshake, you know? Caw, tucky, tucky. You know?
Warrior as this is like, I love the idea of Duo just doing this in the middle
Have you
of the
ever
room.
seen a real chicken?
Turning and looking at him like, what the fuck is happening to him? As this is going on, and you've got one Gree who's like, hey buddy, maybe we can hang out. You seem cool. I'm cool.
Yeah.
And the other one on their comm link, you hear the sonorous slap of tentacles on the floor as you know more Gree are coming from the direction you came.
Well, I'm not going back that way, so I guess I better go the other way.
Pardon me. I'm looking for the bathroom. I'm just gonna work your way through.
I've never been on the ship before.
You work your way through, and you catch the doors you came through opening, and what looks like a patrol coming through, and the one Gree who things are going well with is like, come on, man, you know, and the other Gree is like three tentacles all pointing to where the door is closing that you're at.
I mean, I'm already in trouble, so
it's better to ask forgiveness than, you know, permission. I mean, they're probably just going to shoot me with stun.
I'm going to get yelled at. I got to have something to show for it.
Fair. Okay, what are you doing, Duo?
What am I doing?
Yeah. Besides doing the secret Jedi noises and mental outreach program.
I mean, I guess how many are there Gree in this room with us?
Yeah, Taggart's a Gree, and there's a few other Gree.
I mean, I guess I'm just going to ask.
Just be like, hey, I got a question over here. Question, buddy. What are you gonna say?
Just making a general inquiry, I guess, about. I mean, honestly, I'd like to start weaving the ship lore into it, you know? So I think maybe I'd ask him, you know, do you have any associates that could potentially help us to do some engineering? Is that a weird thing to ask?
He sets, and you can see kind of like what you think is the Gree reaction of like thought process. And another Gree leaves the room and comes back, and you see a Cellcath with a data pad. And Taggart kind of almost gives him a reluctant nod, and the Cellcath says, I am head engineer Dyke, and I am here to assist you. And he keeps looking at Taggart like, hey, is this okay? And he finally says, Dyke, proceed. Okay. Dyke pulls up has the hologram table light back up, and you see what he tells you is Hive Base 3, and it's on the dark side of this moon.
Hive Base 3?
and it looks like a manufacturing, like small city on the dark side of the moon that you're orbiting right now.
Okay.
And he looks over at Taggart, and Taggart gives him another slow nod. He pulls up another schematic, and it's for a moon on another planet in the system.
Okay.
Another massive manufacturing area. So this is Hive Base 6.
Okay.
And then he looks one more time. Taggart slowly nods. And you see a gas giant planet in the system. And as the view shifts all the way over through what they've told you is known as, where's my phone? Because I don't have it on my computer. As this kind of plows through this, as this moves through the system.
Oh yeah, plaster. All right, so
you see
Erie is the moon that we're on, or is that where Hive Planet 6 is? We're like
Hive Base 3 is on the moon. You are on New Hasa, which is a space station floating around that moon.
okay, we're floating around Irie, the moon that like Starlight Beacon is near. No, where are we? Oh,
You're on the unknown region.
Okay, just kidding. Never mind.
You're at a planet named Shugo, and a base, like a space station where the Gree live, called New Hasa.
New Hasa.
And there's a moon that the space station orbits.
Gotcha.
Which I've never given a name to.
Okay. Then there's Hive Base 6 on another moon, and then a gas giant in the system that is named.
The gas giant's name is Gamlezel.
How do you spell that?
Gamlezel.
Okay.
And you go through it. On the edge of Gamlezel is this massive planetary space and starship debris field. I mean, it's huge, and they refer to it as the fog because it literally just blocks out sight. It's not like a flat plane. It's like huge. And what you figured out is the next two planets after Shugo are Tilp 3 and Tilp 2. The fog is what used to be Tilp 1.
Oh.
And it's now on the edge of this gas giant, and it is a giant star dock. It's a shipyard. And one of the things you see in this shipyard is the Grysk ship that the Gree said they blew up.
Whoa.
So apparently they have this ship, and it looks pristine. They also have other ships.
Okay.
And you can tell that they're taking some of them apart and trying to reverse engineer them.
Okay.
And this is just called Dock 1. You also find out that Givst, Givst, is the world on the edge of the system, and the moon Minilith is where the Chiss had a listening station, and where the Grysk kill team went in and eventually got wiped out by the Gree.
Okay.
He shows you all of it. He says, "What?" Taggart in his vocoder says, "What I've shown you here can never leave this room."
Okay.
This are the deepest secrets of the Gree defense forces. And Dite keeps looking over at Taggart and says, "All of it?" And he says, "Yes."
Everything.
They pull in on the Grysk ship in the schematic, and it is completely undamaged.
Why you gotta tease me with a good time?
And he looks over, and Taggart says, "We utilized a Rakatan device. We will most likely never utilize it again." It killed all of the Grysk on the ship
Wow.
without damaging the ship.
Wow.
All things living on their ship died.
Oh, sheesh.
Sheesh.
Sorry, I'm just seeing a Grysk ship for the first time. It's just
The
like
Grysk are neat. The
they're
Grysk,
like Romulan.
the Grysk basically are in the Yuzon Vong, I think.
Huh.
All right. Meanwhile, back in the hallway,
Yeah.
Nando, you start moving through, and you make your way to a four-way intersection where you literally run into this woman and these two Gree. She's in mid-conversation, like almost annoyed with them, and you literally open the door, and then you're like right there, and she like looks up, and she's like, "What the fuck?"
Hey, what's up? You come here often? Hi.
She looks at them, and she's like, "You told me," like, and then you were both shot with stun weapons. You wake up in a room, and Taggart is now in the room with both of you. And she is just radiating like dark side energy, more or less. And
Oh.
he looks at you and says, I think it's time for me to be honest with you. I am not your friend. I'm not a captain.
Wait, who's saying this? Sorry, you broke up a second.
Taggart is saying this to Nando. I am not
God
your
damn it.
friend, and I'm not the captain of the patrol. I am an agent
Come
of the
on.
Gree government. I'm your handler. My name isn't Taggart. I've been watching you and keeping an eye on you. Just you, all of the members of your crew have handlers. I have been your handler since day one.
Okay, I didn't consent to be handled. Bart.
Because the Gree have been put in a situation to protect Shugo and Nuhasa. Our allies, planet side, many of them have no interest in it and don't fear what's potentially out there. We are the Gree. We were the oldest enemies of the Rakatans. We know what is out there. We know other species are just as dangerous as the Rakatans. So we have taken this upon ourselves to protect. You were a potential threat.
What? Me? I own a bar, dude.
All of your crew are potential threats.
Ugh.
The last human we had here was, or the last humanoid we had here was Jarek. And you hear the woman say, and that guy's a huge piece of garbage.
He has big ass horns.
The human woman
Yeah.
says that?
It's a real treat, that guy.
We call it Bay, big ass horn. He's got it.
You end up kind of making eye contact with her, Nando, and you notice she's wearing like a headpiece that covers one side of her face entirely, while leaving the other side like barren, I guess. And then he turns and looks at her and he says, Nindrin, we would be fine with giving you access and asylum on Shugo. However, we needed to make sure that the items you agreed to give us were I've lost my words here. Were
Super duper.
no accurate, I guess. There were actual information. I can't think of the word I'm trying to say. And she looks pretty salty about it. And then he says, I will give you 10 minutes. And then Nindrin, your shuttle will be headed to Shugo. Nando, I will have you escorted back to the briefing room. I'm sure you'll have some catching up to do with your allies.
Feels like you didn't have to shoot me.
Nando, you are unpredictable. And Nindrin is dangerous. And she kind of half smiles on the side of her face that you can see. She says, dangerous, but honest. I've been completely honest with you all since I arrived here, and I've given you everything I said I would give you. So if you could release my personal items from my ship, which you're confiscating, and bring me down the planet side with the hospitality I was promised, you won't have to deal with me ever again. I just want somewhere quiet for the rest of my days. Which is strange because she's looks like she's maybe middle-aged, maybe 40. 10 minutes, Sando. And
it was still extreme. You shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have. It's mean. You're my handler.
you shouldn't have ran.
I didn't run.
And then walks
I
out.
walked.
And then he squigs out of the room.
I was on a mission.
Other mission.
Fuck you, Spike. She turns and squares up with you, sitting at the table. And she says, okay.
Okay.
Obviously, you went to a great deal of trouble to get over here to talk to me. What do you want?
Yeah, you're like the human. In case you have noticed, there's not a lot of us around here, so I was just sorry. I don't mean to assume you may not be human. There's a lot of
I'm human.
you're human. But, oh, you're human. Okay, cool.
I'm
Right, 'cause
human.
that was like a whole long spiel I didn't want to go through because, but
It's fair.
What's up with you?
She takes a deep breath and she's like, does this work on people?
I'm
feel
I'm usually better at this. I'm just not
all of a sudden
recovering from
all of a sudden, Nando, you feel her mind probing your mind.
Hey, get out of there.
Oh, spicy. Okay. Untrained, obviously,
Spike.
but potential. You're aware of that, right?
What?
You're aware of your potential. You're not just you. Are you hiding out here as well? Is this you and your friends just hiding from the Empire?
No, I don't care about the Empire. Like,
good. No, just
I crashed here. Well, I didn't crash here, but my ship did. I was the pilot, though, so I guess.
So you stumbled across this planet.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah.
I'm just inquiring.
Yeah, and everything was going great for a long time, and then these Jedi showed up, and then everything's all fucked up now. So
she leans forward when you said, and she says, "Jedi."
God damn it, man.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
Well, that could be
this motherfucker right here.
Wait,
well, that could be a problem.
What do you mean?
For the
No, they're
information.
fine.
I appreciate it. In my experience, Jedi are anything but fine.
They're fine.
We're totally fine.
They're fine.
Everything's fine.
I will definitely take the word of a man I don't know as fact. So I appreciate the information, though.
I've met these. I met them. They're fine.
You've met me as well. Well, what is your evaluation of me?
Fine.
Fine. Good. Everything's fine.
Fine.
I mean, like, I don't know. You seem okay. Like, what's with the mask?
Everybody's fine.
She kind of looks at you for a second, looks at you, and she says, "All right, we've got 10 minutes."
Yeah.
And I don't really want to spend it just staring quietly. She undoes the piece on the back and pulls this piece apart. You can see that from like here all the way up through her eye, looks like it's just been sliced. Her eye is gone. It's actually now covered in cybernetic parts. And she says, when the Gree give me back my eye, it sets in the socket and floats.
Did they cut your face off?
No, My former employer did
Why?
to prove a
It's a
point.
terrible benefits package.
That's why I left.
I mean, yeah, you should. What? How did you not die? Like you need the other half of your face. Like you need your head.
He slides the piece back on. You can hear it like almost magnetized. I was left with it to go through the process of, I guess, being humbled.
Okay, but like seriously though, are you a ghost? Are you a space ghost? Like how are you? Like you need, like you can't just take that off and still be alive.
Well, you see, like it's when you see it, you see the scar stuff, but you like the scar is left, but they've actually like, built the cybernetics around it. So like the scar is still there. It's like someone intentionally was like, "Oh, guess what? You're gonna have that scar. I mean,
Gotcha.
we'll keep you alive. Like we'll fix this and no back there, but we'll fix this. But you get to keep that fucking scar. Like you're gonna have to look at that scar in the mirror to remember, like you fucked around and then you found out."
Yeah, like who did that? Like who was employing you? Like that's fucked up. I don't want to run into them.
I
Are they out
worked
here?
as a magistrate within the Inquisition. And once Jarek was brought in by Tremaine, I was moved from being under an adjunct under Tremaine to under Sly Moore. And in one of her many back and forths with the Dark Lord of the Sith, I physically intervened.
Sorry, Slimer?
Slimer, yes. You know, the ghost with green ghost with hot dogs and stuff. Sly Moore.
Listen, it like Yoda's out there. Slimer's not like a big jump.
When you say that, Nindra's like, did you just call her Slimer? Who doesn't know who Sly Moore is? She's kind of a big deal.
I fucking don't know. I'm a scientist adjacent.
How long have you
I'm a scientist adjacent.
That's like when Justin McElroy says, "I'm like a doctor." Well, how are you like a doctor? I'm married to a doctor.
Listen, Nando was not brought on board for his scientific skills. I think we can all not be surprised by that.
I love it.
Okay, wait. Would Nando like how known are Sith? Like
It
I'm trying to
depends the
think if
era.
Nando
Right
would
now,
even know.
basically everyone thinks the Sith are gone. And the Jedi know they're not, but they're not like announcing it to everyone because
Sure.
there's been entire like
The Jedi
1,000-year wars between the Sith and the New Republic. So like they pretty much are like, yeah, the Sith are gone, everybody. Like, no, for real, they're gone forever. So you would be aware of who the Sith are. But they're basically like boogeymen.
So like I thought all the Sith were like, you know.
No.
No.
In fact, a dark Lord of the Sith sits and works the behest of the Emperor.
Wait, what? Really? I've been gone for like 9 years. Like
it's quite
really?
obvious you have. So you've missed the entirety of the clone. You've missed the Clone Wars. You've missed the Jedi attempting to kill the Chancellor, and the Republic becoming an empire. Is what you're telling me.
I mean, if that all happened in the last 9 years, yeah, I guess it did.
The Jedi are now have tried to pull a coup, and they were stopped.
Come on now.
Coup.
And they almost killed the Chancellor, who then has declared himself emperor. And one of the people who was there to help drive off the Jedi was the Dark Lord of the Sith.
That's not cool.
Individual named Darth Vader.
Darth Vader. That's a cool name. To be fair,
he's a monster. He's terrifying.
I mean, it's a cool name.
It's not cool when he cuts your face open with a lightsaber.
No, that's very uncool. I'm not a fan. I was just like, that's a good name.
So basically, she relays to you that she stepped to Vader who was getting into it with Slimore because they're kind of political enemies at this point. Because they both have the Emperor's ear, but neither one wants the other one to succeed for their own reasons. She stepped to Vader on behalf of Moore, and Vader just fucking annihilated her. And then was like, basically looked at Slimore and was like, how are you going to make reparations for this insult? And Slimore was like, well, you could have that person you fucking wrecked. How's that for a reparation? He was like, perfect. And so what she explains to you is, as soon as I found out I was going to be shipped to the Inquisitorius, as soon as I was healed enough to be moved, I put into action my plan to leave the Empire.
Well, I mean, congratulations on succeeding your plan. That's it's very impressive.
It was very impressive. It was very hard to get into Jarek's information and erase any information on how to get here.
Yeah, I bet. That sounds like
so. They have coordinates that they think are to here, but they're not.
They're not.
But they're not.
Where are they to? Not here, not near here, right? Like far from here.
A complete unknown area of the unknown regions. Jarek is too caught up in his re-education to probably notice.
Wow, suck it, Vader. Can I ask this? I don't only have 10 minutes, and this is all a lot, but I haven't talked to anyone who knows anything for a really long time.
Except for the Jedi that you told me are here.
What?
Yeah, the Jedi that are here. I'm sure they weren't on your expedition.
No.
They came later, so they would know things that have occurred. Would that be correct?
I don't know. I didn't talk to them very much. They're kind of boring.
She kind of sits back and just I don't disagree with that.
But so
also assist a war against people who did not have any interest in going to war. So
tell me about it. Do you know so
what are you doing here, Stuart?
Do you know about some of my crew are still
I'm sorry, what?
What are you doing here? Some of my crew are I don't know, is stuff okay? I got a guy from Alderaan, and I got a guy, are they
for you, Ryan, Alderaan hasn't gotten blown up yet, just so you know.
Okay. Then never mind.
You're like, is something bad happening to Alderaan? you got another 9 years before that shit goes down.
Okay, then never mind. He doesn't ask that.
No.
But he's just
she looks at you and she says, if you're asking what life is like under the Empire as opposed to the New Republic, are they to the Republic? It's pretty much the same.
Okay.
It's just different uniforms.
Oh, same shit, different day.
The Inquisitorius is no real difference than the Jedi.
Oh.
The Stormtroopers are really just clone troopers. The only difference is the Senate has less of a say of what happens. That's what I've learned.
Okay. That's cool. That's good to know. And you said you just want to live out your days quietly?
I want to give the Gree all of what I've brought here to give them. So they will let me live here quietly.
Okay.
I have no interest in anyone finding me.
Okay.
I have no interest in doing any more than what I have to do just to be here and not be back where I was.
Nothing. You wouldn't want anything to do with the Jedi that are allegedly here?
I frankly would be very happy if you did not let them know that I'm here at all. That would be fantastic, and I would consider that a real good thing. How about this? I would consider that a friendly gesture from two people building a burgeoning relationship based on honesty and mutual trust.
Oh, I don't do relationships, but that's cute. Thank you. I mean, it's very good.
She kind of smiles and says, I don't either.
Sweet. So we got 4 minutes.
She sits back in her chair. She looks at you and says, "Thrill me."
Yeah.
Which is a line from a movie. If you don't know, it's from Night of the Creeps. It's what.
I
Oh
didn't.
God, yeah, I forgot what the guy who plays the cop is, who always says "thrill me" whenever he answers the phone. It's one of my favorite things. Ladies, I got good news and bad news. Good news is your dates are here. The bad news is they're dead. It's Tom something. He's in a lot of like movies like in that era. That's a great movie if you haven't seen it. It's so fucking fun.
Which movie?
Creeps.
Night of the Creeps.
Night of the Creeps.
It is a fantastic, fun, like 50s style horror in an 80s movie. It's also got like killing zombies with a lawnmower in it, which I'm always going to be a fan of. Oh yeah. So what do you want to do for these 4 minutes? Or anything, Nando, you want to do? Is there anything?
I think Nando made clear what he wants to do for those 4 minutes.
That's up to you. Is Nando gets me like, hey, I can 4 minutes.
I mean, I was like, hey,
After a minute and a half, I'm like, wrap it up, B.
you can go twice. Yeah, then I was like, sure. Like, I mean, if you're down.
She looks at you and she just kind of looks up at the tiny floating spheres in all 4 corners and she says, what the fuck? And she closes her eyes and all the 4 spheres pop. Like,
Oh shit.
goes dark in the room for a little bit. 4 minutes pass. The Gree come back in.
You ever heard of knocking?
Taggart's like, what happened to? And he looks over, turns his head over to where she is, and she's just like looking at her nails. One thing you recognize, Nando, when your business was going on, she's fucking strong, and her hands are not like soft hands. They're like someone who's done a lot of fist fighting hands. Like they are calloused and hard. Like this is someone who has spent a considerable amount of time like conditioning themselves to be in unarmed combat. Like to a degree where you're like, oh hey, oh God, don't hurt me.
Nando's into it. He gets it, but he's also like, be gentle.
Mommy.
You know.
I would say if you're thinking about like what she looks like, she kind of looks like Rhea Ripley, and then she really looks like Rhea Ripley when there's no clothing. So scroll like that's exactly. She just says there must have been a short out. I mean, there was a lot going on. Too bad you missed it. She gets up, she straightens her she wears like a black like pants and like a jerkin. She straightens it out and she says, you know what? Maybe we'll see each other around. And she kind of gives you kind of it's a half smile because you can only see half her face. And she leaves with 2 Gree.
Toodles.
Taggart comes in and says, looks at you and says, this is why you needed a handler. And brings you back to the ready room.
Yowza.
So you're all there. I'm guessing
Yowza.
Duo is going to let Nando, or Nando's crew will let Nando know about all of the manufacturing that the Gree have been up to, the shipyard that they have. Also, one thing I forgot to mention, Duo.
Oh, am I?
That I forgot to mention.
This motherfucker right here.
The platform outside the gas giant is all operated by droids. It's all that you saw were droids. And you get a good look at these droids. And they all look like CIS droids.
Oh, man.
The other thing you catch a view of that's surprising, no restraining bolts. So these are all independent. And they seem to be less built for combat and more kitted out for manufacturing.
And this is by the gas planet?
Mm-hmm. This is by the mist.
The fog.
Godzilla. The fog, sorry. So I'm taking you exchange information. Nando, are you going to talk about Nindrin at all? Are you going to leave
Oh,
that
yeah,
as
absolutely.
a... Hey, guess what, guys? I just had sex.
Basically, like,
It's gonna be like the Hank Venture episode where he sees his future or past version visits him. He's like, "We had sex."
he's like, when you got it, and I got it. Yeah.
Oh God.
So she's like she's hot. She's Sith. She's
Is she Sith? Did she say that?
She said. I thought she said that.
I don't know. Did she? Because I don't think I said that. But I mean, if that's what Nando recollects, then yes, please tell them that she's Sith.
I thought she said that. No.
I like more the idea that Nando thinks that that's what was said.
I mean, that's probably his thing Nando would say. Like, he'd probably be like, yeah. There was a lot of like blah blah blah, and then I heard the word Sith.
There was like a talk. She took her mask off, face real fucked
like
up, put it back on. Talk.
It was like a big lore dump, and it's like, I just met you.
Talkie. No more.
Yeah, no, Nando would say what he learned to the best of his recollection. It's like she's really interested in me. Not like she was interested in me, but like interested.
You know what I mean. Felicia just looks at you and says, "You're a child."
What?
You know what?
What?
You know what you did.
You listen. It's been like a week. Calm down.
So it's been like a week, and
needs.
then you get in a room with a woman who obviously sounds like they're extremely dangerous, and then the first thing you do is like, we should take our pants off.
We had 4 minutes. What else were we going to do?
Bree goes, 4 minutes? That's a really long time.
I know, right?
Yeah, that's like, he looks at Felicia and he's like, blurts out how many seconds, nanoseconds, picoseconds that is. She's just like, both of you stop before I lose my mind.
Anyway, it's cool. She wants to like just live like a quiet, boring life. So like, don't. No big thing, but I was like, maybe you know.
Brog is kind of standing there and just like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Since Brog doesn't talk, just like, yeah, I mean, come on.
I think he would be like, he'd be like, have you heard of Darth Vader?
They're all like, no. No. Fuck, what kind of name is Darth Vader? You hear that name duo. You're like, I'm sorry. Squeeze me.
A baking powder. So this woman is an apprentice of Darth Vader?
I mean, not voluntarily. He like cut half her face off.
But after she stood against him, is she Jedi or Sith?
I mean, she said the word Sith for sure.
At least twice.
This is bad.
What?
What do you mean, what?
What?
So
Why is it?
At the same time, Duo, you kind of are coming to the realization that Nando and his crew have absolutely zero context for any of this. Like, they just don't understand this at all. And you kind of know who Darth Vader is, just for the mere fact you all left before.
He's just a Jedi killer. That's all I know.
That's all you know. Is like, this guy goes around killing.
He shows
Jedi.
up. We die. That is why we are hiding.
He's a fucking monster. He's the boogeyman.
Well, and then I mean, Nando would at that point be like, no, he's the blah blah blah, and the Emperor and the blah blah blah. Be like
the blah blah blah. Hello.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. So picture Emperor, Darth Vader.
Oh God, Frozen Screen Warrior was like, yeah.
Picture coin. On one side is the Emperor and Darth Vader. On the other side are your good friends, Duo and Bree.
Okay, but like,
And when it lands on Emperor's side, all of the people on the other side.
didn't that? Wait, have you told him about Order 66 yet? I can't remember.
Yes.
I believe, yeah. Do
Yes.
our name of
Yeah,
The
then he'd be like,
Emperor.
yeah, that already happened.
Yes,
You
but
lost.
it's still happening. Why do you think that we don't go around flashing our lightsabers at the? Why do you think we did everything we could to avoid doing to exposing ourselves? Because when we expose ourselves, he or people sent by him show up and kill us.
Oh,
So
Oh,
it's
oh.
very
I get
important
it. No, we don't.
that people don't know that we are Jedi unless they absolutely have to know.
Okay, well, I definitely didn't say your names, so
Fair.
or what you look like, or anything, or how many of you there are.
But you did
Or
tell her that there are Jedi present.
I definitely said the word Jedi, but that was before the Sith stuff. That was before.
So in the future, just as a note, it would be very much appreciated if maybe we didn't mention that until people were within our confidences, because we would like to live. And that's much easier when people are not chasing us down to murder us.
Okay, but she's not gonna leave.
Son of a bitch.
Did you just call me a son of a bitch?
Probably.
Did you
No,
do it?
I'm just letting Super Spike drive now.
All right.
No.
So Taggart basically comes back in and is like, so we've revealed everything. No more secrets, no more lies. We're giving you the opportunity to join the defense force for Shugo Nuhasa. We're revealing all this because we don't think that we are worried that we may not have the ability to deal with some of the potential threats in our area. And we want this to be somewhere quiet. We want this to be what it is now. But we're worried that these other forces are going to come here and that they're going to go past listening into what we're doing and start trying to take or destroy what we have. Our defense forces are made up of members of all who dwell on Shugo and Nuhasa, individuals who volunteered to serve and who have been training extensively at Hive 3 to act as a protector group. But you all have skills and abilities that none of the rest of us have. You can offer information that we do not have. Ven stands up and says, this is my home. And my family's home before me. I have a duty to protect it. And then when she says that, she looks back at you and Bree, like, is this what you were talking about? Like, this is what you do?
Yeah.
Like, she's like, are you going to stand up with me on this? Like, I'm kind of hanging out. I'm hanging out with my butt in the wind.
Yeah, no. I mean, absolutely. I mean, I assume that Bree and I are both
Okay.
like willing to step into this space. I mean, we've been offered
You see, like her visibly, like I thought I was doing this very brave thing, and then for a second I thought I may have fucked up, and then when you both
Absolutely not.
you can see when you both stand up and like, yes, she kind of like straightens back up again. Like, okay, this is what the people I'm referring to as, teachers or masters would do. So I'm doing this. I'm showing initiative.
Yeah.
I don't know, duo sounds like a job with a lot of exposure.
Felicia stands up and she's like, I'm in.
Wait, really?
She leans in and looks at you like with that like disgusted parent look and is like, yeah, I told you. I was just gonna make this. I was gonna try to actually make this work.
Okay. All right.
If you were smart and had, you would be in too. Nub looks at you like, what are we doing? Mom and Dad are fighting. I don't like this. Brog gets up, immediately stands. Like, all right.
Me too, bro.
Brog's like, Brog doesn't really want to stay, but
Yeah,
it's
that's
kind of like, I'm not, if this place gets destroyed, I'm definitely not going to get to leave. So, and what you've shown me is you might have technology that would allow me to leave at some point.
Okay.
Gree
Okay,
looks at
okay.
you and goes, well, you're captain, so I'm going to do what the captain does. I'm sorry, Felicia, please don't hit me, but I'm just like, Nando and I are vibing pretty good right now as captain and engineer, so I'm not going to fuck that up.
No, it's okay. We'll do it. Okay. All right. Fine. We'll do it. We're cool. We're good. We're cool. You're cool, man.
Good. Well, the first thing we're going to have to go deal with that Grysk kill team. And that's where we're going to stop for tonight.
Grysk kill team.
Grysk kill team does kind of sound.
It's like Skull Kill Crew. It's sick.
Yeah, it's sick. It is sick. Sick.
Just 3 syllables. Hits hard.
Hits hard. Well, I know weird episode because we were
fun.
Just had the three of us.
Weird. That was super fun.
Did some world building. We got a little bit of role play in. Nando did some Nando shit. This might have been some peak Nando. I'm kind of sad that everybody missed it.
Yeah,
because we got 4 minutes.
Real good.
Also, just dropping information left and right, and then coming back at me and like, blah 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 words, blah 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 blah. Oh my god! All this was missing was Nando shooting someone, and it would have been peak.
Yeah.
I mean, in a manner of speaking.
In a if you guys want to tell people where they can find you, what you got going on, let's do that.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
I'm Warrior. You can find me at Warrior on Blue Sky. It's the order. It's just I can't. Like I'm just going. I'm in the middle. This is I don't even know what is right anymore.
You're in a big meaty sandwich.
Wow.
Just so big meaty men slapping me.
I'm just so tired of being the meat. Yeah, you can find me on Blue Sky at Warrior. I'm also on TikTok for another couple days. Warrior MN. So you can find me there. Otherwise, you can find me here when things are happening on Monday. Generally. So
next week
be here next week for Chaos Scar. I'll be doing it.
The long promised Jamboree episode.
Long promised Jamboree episode. We're on level 3.
Yeah.
He's got a little pack. He's got a little
Tibron out the Feywild.
Straight out the Feywild.
Motherfucker named Tiburon.
Sure.
Seen some shit. He's done some shit. He set up a candy station for his ogre
Troll buddy.
hand friend, his troll hand friend.
What is Tiburon's last name?
Sausalito.
Sausalito. I would say Son. You still need to give Son a name, and he will reciprocate by giving Nando the name in Troll, Troll Friend. Which we'll have to figure out what that means, but and how it sounds like. But I think it sounds cool.
That sounds cool. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's all you get.
Nice. Hey, I'm Beard. You can find me at Huey Beard Walks.
Hello.
Blue Sky. That's it.
Sometimes you're here doing stuff.
I'm here doing stuff. I do prep school. I do other things. I have Maniki Wonko. Yeah, lucky dog.
Nice.
Is that actually sake, or does it have like a toy in it?
Yeah. No, it's like a little carton.
Yeah, no, it's cute.
Yeah.
It's cute.
It's quite good too. Yeah.
I just wasn't sure because there's a lot of like, the sort of like gotcha toys.
I also like that like it's the front for some reason on 3 sides, but then on the back it's the back.
Sure.
Okay.
You can find me here probably sometime this week. I think I'm going to do another episode of Ballads of Knox County because
You made
I didn't
that
tell
intro.
you guys.
You got to use it.
I had a guy named Dino Tron was my first guy that I started with this week when I did the episode on Sunday.
Yeah.
Guess how I fucking died? Just take the wildest guess you can imagine is
Very uncomfortable position.
Probably a little bit.
Back of a Volkswagen?
No. I went into a house, and guess what was in the house?
Zombies.
Darth Vader.
There were zombies because they were a D&D group who had been killed. They had a DM with a wizard's hat on. They had manuals, and they had polyhedral dice everywhere. I died because I wanted to pick up every fucking polyhedral dice in that room, and zombies flooded in through the window, and I got killed. I was so mad because I picked up the wizard's hat, and I was like, I cannot fucking wait to wear this wizard's hat while I'm wearing a welder's mask. It's going to look boss as fuck. Got killed.
Aww.
So I can't remember what my current dude's name is. It's something weird because I only use the weird names that pop up in the random generator. But he's doing all right. Living out in the outskirts. He's a doctor. Yeah, the guy before that was a metal worker who apparently really likes D&D. Who knew? Because I'm trying to be like more, like, oh, this is the guy. I'm gonna do what this person's occupation and all that shit would do. So, doctor, I'm being way more pragmatic. So I'm not like trying to kill fucking 50 zombies as fast as humanly possible.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll probably do a thing of that. I might pedal during it. I don't know. But then I will be here on Sunday for prep school. I'm not sure what we're doing. I don't know if Beard and I are going to try to get together this weekend and do our first little making stuff Saturday and then talk about it on Sunday. We'll see what happens. No, so you don't believe this shit's super spiked. They changed it. You can't just make Molotov cocktails now. You have to unlock Molotov cocktails, like how to build them correctly so they won't just blow up in your hand.
That is some shit.
They were like, oh, you remember how Zomboid was hard? Remember how it was hard? Yeah, guess what? Build 42. We made it fucking harder. Enjoy suffering. But I will say this. Basements are scary as fuck.
I ain't playing with that.
Basements are terrifying. When you go in there and there's no lights on because the new lighting system, when it's dark, it's pitch black. So you see light switches having a tiny little orange dot. You're like, do I dare run across the room and hit that light in the hopes that nothing's down here? Because I'm also using the beard build and I am deaf.
Hell yeah.
Because, hey, it's 12 points and I need them points, baby.
Told you, dude.
I mean, I already got music on anyway. So, but yeah, it's been fun. I'm excited to when this comes out in multiplayer finally, because it's a brand new unstable build. Because hopefully I'll be able to wrangle some of you guys back in. I also, I don't know if anyone here watches Nurse. Nurse did a stream a couple days ago where she played Build 42 with one of the best new mods for that. It's called 1 week, and you start 1 week before the zombie apocalypse hits true danger. So you're like working your job the first couple days, but shit's starting to go wrong. Like you're seeing the military in the streets, people start, robbing places. But like you can still just like do your work and go home and start to be a prepper because shit's about to go wrong in 7 days. So it's very interesting because I'm used to like Zomboid. I just go in your house and take your shit because you're probably dead.
Yeah.
But she walked into a house, her first character, and got killed. Because she basically went into somebody else's home and they just shot her. It's Kentucky. Stand your ground, fucker. But later on, she went into a house with her new character that was having a house party. And there were 40 NPCs in the room dancing with this banging music going on, drinking and eating, also coughing and spreading the disease. So she was like, I don't have...
Sounds like March 2020.
No. I don't have the dance mod on right now for myself. Otherwise, I would just groove with these fuckers till the apocalypse comes. Because she's like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in this game. I've done some cool stuff, but literally a house party right before the zombie apocalypse is the coolest shit ever in this stupid game. I was like, yeah, I'm going to play that mod the hell out of it because that looks incredible. The idea of getting some friends together, playing the 1 week mod, and then literally prepping your ass off so when the zombie apocalypse is coming and just like dealing with it on day one is very interesting to me. So anyway, I hope you all have a good night. I hope you have a good rest of your week until I see you again. Take care of yourselves. Drink plenty of water. Give yourselves time to refocus. Don't tell anyone you're a Jedi.
Or tell anyone else that anybody else is a Jedi.
Oh, wow. What's funny is that if it's so important that your identities are never told to anyone, maybe like when you meet a new person, you'd be like, don't tell anybody.
Also, most important,
maybe you make sure I remember.
Most important, remember, you always got 4 minutes.